Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage where you'll find more information about our club, the frequencies we transmit on, and a little background of our organization. Also there you will find a link that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a specific tone of 103.5 for our nets held on Cougar Mountain. Saying that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Hearing none, again, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Checked in via video link already is Ron, KD7QKU, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Wade, W7ITL, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. Is there anybody else who would like to check into the net? Hearing none, we'll get our net going, and we'll start with Ron in Tacoma, KD7QKU.
Well, good evening to everyone. This is Ron, KD7QKU. Well, let's see. I didn't think I had anything to talk about, but I guess I do. So my son came over. Jamie, Chris, was it Monday? Maybe. So he sent me a text, said I'm coming to get you. We're going to Sports Co. Well, Sports Co. is a big sporting good warehouse that's down by 5. It's on the south side of I-5. So we went down there. He's driving his Mustang. He drives like a wild man. You know, it's got a 4 or 5 speed in it. I don't know what size engine in it. Weaving in and out of traffic, you know, running on top of everybody, passing them right and left. You know. Oh man, I said we went down there. I thought we'd be there a while. I mean, you could spend hours in that store. It's gigantic. I got my fishing license, and by the time I got that, he's got whatever he got, and he's ready to go. So he said he was going to buy me lunch. So we went over South Tacoma Way. He wanted to go by this shop that rebuilt his engine. So he's been telling me about this guy. The guy's older than I am. Well, he says, man, he's sharp. He said, well, this, that. But, so we got there. We went up an alley. So it's about 7. You go down Tacoma Way to about 70th, and then you go east towards I-5, and it's over there, kind of a bunch of old houses. Went down an alley. There was a bunch of, apparently this guy had a bunch of old garages or something, I don't know. But anyway, it was locked up. So I said, did you call him? No, but I'll call him. Well, he was out doing something, but he'll be back in about an hour. So then he said, okay, we'll go over and get lunch. So we get over in Tacoma Way and go looking for some place to eat. Anyway, we got there, had a hamburger, and visited a little bit, and then headed back to the old guy's place. Let me let it drop. And the door's open. maybe it was what I expected, but it wasn't what I expected. He said he was a lot like Ivan. So Randy's dad was a Ford mechanic his whole life, and then he retired. And he worked on, he had a boring machine. He could do heads, could do a lot of work. But anyway, sandblast cabinet lathes and all that stuff. So this old guy was kind of the same way, except man, oh man, kind of had a crappy old dirty bunch of old shop buildings there that had stuff in them. Didn't impress me, I'm telling you. I wouldn't want him working on my engine, but anyway. So anyway, Mike wants to get a, so Mike has a 3.8 and he wants to get a 4.3. And they're just, you know, they're old engines, my goodness sakes. They're either, I don't know, Chevy or Buick or whatever, they're little V6s. I don't know anything about them. So anyway, I looked around, and so it was kind of funny. Mike thought there was this 4.3 sitting there on the floor, and Mike was looking at it, and so he tells Mike, "Oh, I sold that last week." And Mike had just talked to him last week, and told him to come down and look at it. So the guy was busy trying to get this engine started, and there was some other guy trying to help him. They couldn't figure out how to get it started. I don't think, at least the old guy couldn't. The other guy was having trouble. So anyway, we left. So, let me drop it. A beard, quite a long beard, white hair. He was dirty and kind of stocky, and I don't know, didn't talk much. At least he didn't talk to us much. So as we're getting back to Tacoma way south, I said, "Hey, do you suppose you're the guy he sold it to last week?" Because I said, "You think he knew who you were?" I said, and Mike looked at me and he said, "Well, that is kind of funny because I talked to him last week, you know, and I thought I was going to buy it, and I was just coming down to look at it, and then he told me he sold it last week." I said, "Yeah, I think you're the guy he sold it to. He just couldn't remember it." So I don't know. All right, back to that KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Bob, K9PQ, in Bothell.
Okay, well, good evening, guys. I need to make an adjustment on my green screen. That's why everything looks green tinted behind me. There is a scene behind there, but I didn't get the adjustment just right. I'll get it right for next time. Well, yeah, you were chasing all over the place, Ron, and we never got to hear the end of the story. The whole point, did he sell it to him or did he not sell it to him? We need to find out. Okay, we don't know. Let's see, well, yeah, you know, I've actually got something ham radio related. I think I mentioned last time that my friend Chris set up a small loop antenna with a auto tuner and was playing around with JT8 and Whisper, and JT8 is like Whisper, and convinced me to do the same. So I've just kind of got started a little bit, but I'm going to put my HF station up. It hasn't been up in a while, and you know, it's like what do they say? Perfect is the enemy of good, something like that. Where sorry, lost my train of thought. I've been trying to get the best antenna I could up here, but instead I'm just going to put up a small loop and an antenna just basically going right along my railing and just see what I can do, see where I can get, and then improve it as I can and as I need to. I have to keep it as stealthy as possible, and that's the biggest thing that's helped me up. But this will be good. I mean, this will be the first, I think probably the first time I've done HF from here. I can't remember having done it before, so we'll give it a try and see what happens. Okay, I'll send it back to this K9PQ.
And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Richard, K7ITX in Kent.
Hi, everybody. Well, I'll have to keep it short tonight. This will just be kind of say hi, and then I'll have to say bye. I think I got a good excuse. I have a probe hooked to a monitor outside my body, and it's a wire that goes through my left nostril, down my throat, and into my stomach. I know. It's horrifying, I know. So, oh God. Well, it's okay to laugh, I guess. Usually when I laugh, I can have a coughing attack. So, but I couldn't help laugh. It is pretty funny though. But it's pretty miserable feeling too. And so, anyway, that's where I'm coming from. It's only gonna last. They take it out tomorrow, so it's not the end of the world. It's just part of the series of things they do for a throat function test. Is what it all boils down to. So anyway, so Ron, great story. But you know, that's very typical of engine builders that I've known in my past, or even know even today. They all are scatterbrained. It's weird. They'll sell something, and then they'll sell it to somebody else. I don't know, and that's how it is with our Datsun, our 69 Datsun 510 motor guy, you know. And usually there's only one or two of these dudes, you know, that do what you need. And so they've got a corner on the market, and they know it, and they don't care. And they just, you know, keep right on chucking along, and that's how it goes. So anyway, great to see everybody tonight, and I'll just have to listen to what's going on. So it'll be 73 K7ITX, back to net control.
Thanks for joining the net this evening. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
I'll go ahead and say 73 to, and hopefully you get better there, Richard. Let's see here. This week has been pretty busy. Let me see. I worked a pretty long shift today, so I'm a little tired if I seem a little slow. Let's see, what else? This last weekend I went to a concert at the White River Amphitheater. It saw the Smashing Pumpkins and saw SDP. I don't know if I told you guys that's where I was at last Saturday. And then, let's see, what else this week? Working on, let's see, what was I working on? I had some electrical issues in downstairs in my garage and my front entrance, and I traced it out to an outlet. I was able to get an electrical tracer, and I was able to probe all the wires and find it. So I'm all good on that front now. Now I can see in my garage again. So, let's see, that's it. And Ron, sounds like you're doing okay too, and I forget what you were working on. But the good stories tonight. All right, well, that's it.
ITL. Let's see if Jim's with us, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, let's see. Ron, Sportco. Yeah. It seems to me there was one in, was it Federal Way, and then maybe another one somewhere out It was maybe a little bit west of Gig Harbor, somewhere out there. Oh, maybe it was like Silverdale. Anyway, I haven't been to a Sportco in years. Thanks for mentioning that. I'll have to Google it and see if I could make a run to one of these days, just for giggles. Mustang, yeah. I used to have a Mustang. Mine wasn't really a muscle car, though. Mine had an inline six-cylinder engine. I forgot how many cubic inches it was. It seems to me it was on the order of 200. Kind of tiny. You open the hood and it looked like there was half an engine there, but it was good on gas. Oh yeah, funny story. I agree with Bob. You'll have to let us know if the thing was really sold or not, or what's the end of the story there. And mechanics with messy shops. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I have an airplane mechanic who has a rather messy shop, but you know what? You can ask him for anything, and in 1 minute, he'll produce whatever it is that you want. I don't know how he does it, but does a good job. Bob, green background. Oh my goodness, I thought we were looking at Ireland there for a bit. Let's see here. JT8, I'm not familiar with that. Did you mean FT8? I know FT8 is pretty darn popular. I kind of want to get involved with that, but I've just been too busy. And by the way, Sparky, looking rather foxy tonight. Thanks for that picture. That's great. Dick, good to see you. I'm really sorry you're going through these problems. I don't know, horrifying, almost more like it's ticklish or something. But seriously, you don't need more problems. Sorry about that. I hope you know that all of us are thinking of you and praying that you're going to get better quickly. Hang in there, guy. Wade, you seem a little slow tonight. I don't know, you seem awfully quick to me. By the way, I went to a doctor a couple years ago, my regular primary care physician. I told him that I was slowing down a little bit, and he said, yeah, that's normal for someone my age. And I can't repeat over the air what I said to him, but oh well. Anyway, let's see. Sounds like you had fun. Concert and fixing some garage wiring. Good deal on that. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
7QO, let's go to Bellevue to James, WU7N.
Thank you, WU7N James in Northeast Bellevue. Richard, hope you get well soon, and hope you're feeling better soon. Well, okay, Ron, I'm going to tell you, I'm the one that bought the engine. I didn't know it was your son, and I just jumped right in front of it. But I'll tell you what, if you have your son send me $100, I'll call the guy and just tell him to go ahead and sell it to you for the same agreed on price, and that'll solve that mystery and square that away. Happy to do that for you. The other thing, okay, Sportco is not the same as the Sportsman's Warehouse, right? Okay, yeah, because I know the Sportsman's Warehouse, I think, was a victim of COVID, because there was another group that was going to buy them, as I recall, in 2020, and then they canceled out on it. So I think there's still two separate stores there, Sportco and Sportsman's Warehouse. Okay, you're nodding. Okay. Well, yeah, that's I haven't been to either one of those stores in quite a while. I should make a field trip and go down there, because, yeah, I used to go down there with friends. We did a little field trip. I would hardly, buy anything, but someone would usually buy something. I guess it all adds up. The thing about engine shops, you have to ask yourself, do you want surgery or do you want engines rebuilt? I don't know. I'm like Jim. Most of the great guys I've known, they've got like 5 projects going at once. The best story I heard is 2 guys brought their vehicles in to get engines overhauled
and put back in their cars, and they ended up with, the guy accidentally put the wrong engines in each of their vehicles, but they knew each other, and they both ended up with what they thought was like a pretty good deal compared to what they had before. One was a smaller frame and had a bigger engine in it, and the other guy just felt like he got a better engine, so they were still happy, so they still paid him, and drove off with each other's engines. I thought that was a funny story. Anyway, well, Bob, your FT8, we'll have to talk more about that, because if I just get past this kind of very busy time here, I'd like to try that too, and it would be interesting to see if we could just communicate, you know, with just vertical wave or near vertical incident wave and see if that works. There was one other thing I wanted to share, a little blast from the past I stumbled into here. Let me see if I can get this to work. Is this coming through or not, but I saw a little soundbite here that because of the writers' strike, this group, remember these guys, the vaccine dancers, that I saw a soundbite that said that they, because of the writers' strike, they were having to work kids' parties now. I just thought that was kind of funny because I'd forgotten all about these people and their little dance routine. But I guess it's like Beanie Babies. It kind of came and went. So anyway, I saw that, thought it might get a smile on everyone's face. This is James, WW7N. Let me turn it back to our net control. Dave, take it away.
WW7N, thanks with that. And time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. On the 08 machine, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. And I got 66 degrees here in Lake City. Slight overcast, and boy, it was really kind of a cooler evening or afternoon. A little drizzle came down, and there was some rain this morning, so I elected to do domestic chores around the house and got that out of the way. But then I was at Costco, and some spare ribs jumped into my shopping cart, so I dragged those home. I was amazed that they were so energetic to be able to get from the cooler clear over to the cart. So that brought me home to get the smoker ready and dealt with that this afternoon. Got the racks out, uncovered the smoker, tested the flame burner, and that worked. And so now I need to prep the ribs and probably do it probably Sunday or Monday. Do a rub on them, and then you spray them down with an apple juice, apple vinegar and apple juice mixture, and put that in the refrigerator for at least 48 hours, and then spray them down with apple vinegar. And anyway, get those prepped and ready to go, and hopefully I'll be able to do that sooner than later. So this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Ron again, KD7QKU. Yeah, there's a Sportsman Warehouse, and there's a Sport Co. And then in Seattle, there's another one. And those, the one here in Tacoma and the one in Seattle are the same company. Outdoor Emporium is called up there. It's called Sports Co down here. So anyway, there's more to my son's boat story, I guess, if I don't bore you to death. So I don't like to get involved in my son's stuff, and he doesn't like me to stick my nose in it either. But I decided to satisfy my own curiosity, I need to go talk to somebody else. So I went down here by Boathouse 19, and there's a bunch of places down there, and I went into the one where I sold my boat. They're nice guys. And they said, well, we don't work on inboards, we only work on outboards. And I don't know anything about that guy, that old guy you're talking about. Go next door to Aaron. He's the inboard guy. He probably knows all about everybody. So I go next door to Aaron. Well, he's the guy I bought like my son. he has a nice shop and lots of boats, does conversions and all this. And so I said, well, my son's got this C-Sport, got this 3.8 engine in it, and he's thinking about putting a 4.3. And by the way, do you know this guy? So he said, yeah, I never met the man, never been there, but he just takes care of old crap. That engine, you know, it was built in 70s or 80s, and there are no parts for him. You know, you can't get anything. He just pieces them together. You know, he says, I guess a lot of people, well, quite a few people go down there and he pieces them together. I don't know how long it lasts. Anyway, so he said, tell me about your son. Oh, he said, he's about your age. He's got Mustangs and motorcycles and hot rods. And he said, stop. He said, I can tell you right now that if he goes, you know, the engine he's got now is about 170 horse, you know, if it's in good shape. And what he's going to put in is about 200, you know, if he goes to 4.3. He said, still underpowered. He said, he needs a V8. Get rid of those V6s, for crying out loud. He said, he'll never be happy with that boat. Just judging from what you told me, he'll never be happy with it till he put the V8 in it. You know, he needs it. Well, my friend that had the 21-foot Bayliner had a Ford 351 in it. I don't know, Ford, and maybe they were OMC engines or maybe they were Merc Cruisers, but they were basically 351 Fords. They put out about 300 horsepower, I know. So, yeah, he said, let me talk to your son. He said, send him down here. He said, I'll straighten him out. He said, he needs to get rid of that old crap and put something in there that you know, puts out a few horses. Then he'll be happy with that boat. So I did call up my son and sort of told him that. He didn't get too upset. He said, well, that guy maybe knew what he's talking about. You know, he said, I said, yeah, well, you should talk to him. I gave him his phone number and his website. I said, I think you'd like him. I think he even bow hunts, because he saw my hat, and he said, are you a hunter? And I said, yeah, I bow hunt. So he said, yeah, I'm sure he said he did. But anyway, he said, yeah, he needs a new crate engine, you know, new engine. Put a new motor in it, for crying out loud. Don't mess with that old used crap. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
I think I've got it pretty well set now. Uh-oh. Just went away entirely. I have no idea now what's going on. Okay, well, that's fine. Apparently I have a white background now. So, yes, FT8, it must be FT8, Jim. I could swear he's been telling me JT8, so one of us is confused, him or me. I'm sure that's what it is. I'm not sure who, but I'm sure it must be FT8. And either that, there is a JT9 out there, and so maybe that's what he meant, JT9, but I will talk to him and find out. He's in Wisconsin right now with the family. He grew up in Cincinnati, and they're up in the Wisconsin Dells, which I happen to know because I know of them, because I lived in Chicago for 10 years, and it's not that far away. It's sort of a resort area, sort of like, I imagine it's sort of like the Poconos in the Northeast. I don't think it's like anything out here. You know, it's one of those where, you know, people go on vacations and they have all kinds of rides and different things, and but I don't know that there's anything really to compare it to out here. The vaccine dancers, I've never seen that before in my life, but I haven't watched that show in a very long time. It sounds like from what you were saying, were they going with during the last writer's strike while COVID was underway, or I don't know exactly what the deal was, but I don't know how it tied in with the current writer's strike, but maybe you could explain that. And yeah, Richard, if you're still listening, yeah, I wish you the best. And that sounds no fun, having that probe going in through your nostril and down, but it's for the best, I'm sure. Well, that's all I have tonight, and in fact, I am dragging tonight. I did not work 11 hours. Good on you, Wade, for that. I'm just dealing with a sleep issue. As you know, it's sort of an ongoing thing with me, and I'm very short on sleep tonight, so I'm going to stick around listening out, but I'm done taking turns for the night. So 73, everybody, and I will be watching and listening. K9PQ, back to net.
K9PQ, thanks for that. And it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL.
W7ITL. James can switch me in on RF. Let's see if I can come in, and then I can turn off my TV so you don't have to hear that annoying hum. Yeah, Richard, I wish you all the best to get better. Hopefully your results tomorrow when you get the tube removed from your nose and the node that they're using to do your throat test that gets pulled out, and I wish you the best on that. Even if it's not good, we still wish you everything's going good otherwise. And then Sportsman, or what is it called? The Emporium, the Sportco Outdoor Emporium. They seem like they're kind of like the REI of the sports world, and it looks like they do the same kind of thing where they have like the membership, and they have an online presence too, which looks like it's not as good as REI's, but it's good. And they do the 2 shows a year, where they do one in May and one in August. Western Washington Sportsman Show. So I've never been to that show. It looks like it's pretty cool. Lots of boats probably, and fishing reels and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. I definitely want to hear the end of the story about the motor and who actually got the motor, if we know. Let's see. And the FT8 thing. Let's see. I looked online, and there's definitely a couple different technologies that are similar to FT8. There's like a JT9, JT, a couple of different JT standards that they're kind of similar to FT8. This a little slower, a little faster, depending on which one you're talking about. And then there's Whisper too, which is really long. All right, well that's all I got. I think I'm going to probably check out after this round and say 73 to everybody. You all have a good night.
W7ITL, well, thank you for joining the net. Hopefully we'll see you the next net coming up. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see, Wade and Dick and Bob, good night. I guess y'all are just going to be listening in. So hang in there, guys. Get some rest and take care of yourselves. Jim, thank you for mentioning, Sportsman's Warehouse. That's actually who I was thinking of. It would be a shame if they went out of business. Haven't been there for several years, so I guess I missed my opportunity to do that. Wow, well, so much for that. Let's see, Dave, ribs. Oh, they leaped into your cart. Obviously, they were still mooing. Yeah, I think all of us can certainly identify with that. Nothing like good barbecue. Ron, there is no substitute for horsepower. Yeah, what that fellow said was pretty accurate, I think. I had a friend one time in Minneapolis. I had an international scout, and I was telling him that the thing was a bit underpowered, and this guy, for a hobby, he would install superchargers on engines, chop this big hole in the hood and a belt-driven supercharger. And so I said, well, like, how much would this little engine crank out? He said, 600 horsepower. And I'm like, yikes, that's not what I had in mind. So nevertheless, I did not do that. But there are definitely people who enjoy modifying things and adding horsepower. No substitute for horsepower. Bob, that Sparky's looking great. You talk about your background there. Don't know what happened to the green, but that white, it's really not exactly a solid white. It almost gives one the illusion that you're in the clouds. It's kind of cool, actually. I think that's great. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO, let's go to James, WW7N.
Okay, well, Wade, still listening. Thank you very much for checking in tonight and participating. I know that can be tough after an 11-hour day, certainly. I was looking for the article. It was from the Babylon Bee. Their tagline is "Fake News You Can Trust," I enjoy that site. Also, the Onion.com also does the same kind of satire. I think they were making fun of the fact that that dance group never really went very far. It was kind of a joke from the day one. But anyway, it was, and there was also another article of the same vein. The writers were threatening to write another series on Obi-Wan Kenobi for Disney if they didn't get what they wanted, as a threat, implying that the last time they tried it was so bad that no one would want to see it again. Anyway, I honestly don't know where the writer's strike is at, but what's probably germane to this group is AI is really just coming online, and I think the actors are very concerned about, how much longer are they going to need actors? Because if you've seen some of the AI creations of people for just like YouTube and such, I mean, you cannot tell that that's not a person. It's just amazing. And they're completely artificial. And they talk and everything. It's just absolutely amazing to me. You just don't know who or what you're talking to anymore. Let's see. I can tell that we're probably in for a little bit of weather tonight because the 1.2 gigahertz signal is not really very good tonight. And it seems like whenever we get a bunch of roll and interference that comes and goes throughout the net, we get in at least wind and sometimes a little bit of rain. So I would welcome a little bit of rain tonight. I do notice I'm using two different weather apps. One is on my phone with my iPhone. It's a weather app. And the other is the National Weather Service. And the iPhone weather app was saying no rain tonight, whereas the National Weather Service was had dropped, saying it was going to rain this afternoon, which I guess it did for Dave, but not over here on this side, over in Bellevue, in northeast Bellevue. But the weather app is still saying no, and the National Weather Service is still saying, I think, 50% chance tonight or something. But I like these little dusting rainstorms. It just gives me a good excuse not to have to water anything for another few days, which is always kind of nice. It just also kind of cools the place down and cleans the air. Minutes left to the top of the hour. My name is James, WAU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let me turn it back to Dave, our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
WW7ATS. Boy, hearing the more power for boats and motors and stuff, it reminded me covering the Blue Angels several years ago. There was a gentleman next to me that had an aviation radio that he could monitor what they were saying with the Blue Angels. And I'll never forget, there was one part where they were flying a group of 5 of them together, and then they broke apart and went different directions. At that same time, the voice on the radio came up saying, more power, more power, more power. And they sort of split off into different directions. So that was kind of interesting, using the term more power. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. So with that, we go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
QKU here. I don't know how much more time we got. I can't see the clock. But anyway, so I don't know what my son will do with his boat, but he's been anxious to, go salmon fishing. That's why he got it. It's a fishing boat. But anyway, he's been fishing for about a month now. Hasn't been catching anything because there's no fish yet. There aren't very many fish to begin with. So he's over by, Key Peninsula, and they're across really from the Nisqually River, and that's where all the fish will go to that are in his area. And I looked, and this year is a humpy year. Every other year, the humpy salmon come in, and they're expecting 450,000 to return to the Nisqually River this year. So that's a good number of fish. So they should be coming pretty soon. So the game department has young people go down on the dock and they check the fishing boats when they come in, the private boats, and see how many fish they caught. And so I was looking for the website and I found it. And so last Sunday down here at Jimmy Christmas, I can't say what it is now, senior moment. But anyway, there was 66 boaters checked and they had one fish. So that's not a very good average. So I was trying to tell my son what happens with these fish is they all congregate out there in the Strait of Juan de Fuca and in the fall, and they wait for the rains to come. And it doesn't have to be lowland rains, it needs to be mountain rains. So it rains in the mountains, and then the water runs down the river, and the rivers run into Puget Sound, and then Puget Sound goes into the Strait of Juan de Fuca. And these fish know that, and then they all rush into the Puget Sound and they start going up the rivers. So you just have to wait and watch the fish checkers, and when they start catching a few more fish. Right now we're in what's called Area 11 here in Tacoma, and it's closed. So they have to go to Area 13 to fish, and that's on the south side of the Narrows Bridge. So all the boats have been down there fishing, but they're not catching anything. They're fishing for the same fish that Mike would be. So there's only a couple rivers down there that fish go to. 3 rivers. I didn't check them all, but they get kings and silvers, and they get chums, and then of course they get I can't say what it is now. Every other year the little humpies come in, and they're small salmon, and I don't particularly care for them, but they're okay. So I suppose I told him in another week or two they'll be coming. So I'm going to take my motorhome down to his property, and I'll stay there for 2 or 3 days, and we'll fish hard for 2 or 3 days, and hopefully we'll catch some fish. So anyway, and I didn't say much about Richard, but I know Richard. I sure hope Richard knows that we'll pray for him, and I'm thinking about him, and I hope that. I'm not sure why he's having this test, but I hope that if he's got a problem, they'll help solve it. So anyway, I guess back to net KD7QKU.
KU, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bothell.
I'm out for the night. 70th year, everybody. K9PQ.
Q, we got your 7-3. Wish you well. Get some rest. But let's move on to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Ron, you were losing track of the time there. You don't have a clock. Right now I'm showing 8:44. Let's see, where was I here? Jim, yeah, I like the current weather as well. it's really not particularly good for flying. It would be nice if we had at least higher clouds, but otherwise I appreciate that it's a little bit cooler, and we definitely need some precip from time to time, and for that matter I appreciate that the sun doesn't get in my eyes that much. Let's see. Oh, you're commenting about the 1.2 picture. Yeah, I'm kind of experiencing the same thing. My 1.2 picture is going in and out a bit tonight. I do have good color from everyone tonight, though. So I don't know. Let's see. I guess that's about all I got for now. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
QO, thanks for that. Let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
The weather changes has anything to do with people, because I actually, for the first time in quite some time, used the alarm to wake up this morning. I had to get to work on some things, and I thought, man, I could use another half-hour sleep. So I noticed everyone is slowly dropping off because they're tired. Oh, David's yawning. Yes, we saw that. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to last, guys, but it's been fun. I really do appreciate people checking in and saying hello and participating. I'm hoping for a little rain tonight. I hope Richard gets well soon. And I hope, Ron, you'll return to us with the story of what happened to the engine, because we'll all be on the edge of our seats. This is WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to you, Dave.
WW7N, as we're thinning out, I don't know if we want to continue on or not. Thumbs up if you want to go. Another round. No thumbs up. Well, I guess we can call the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'll be terminating our net early this evening. On behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions on our nets this evening. So with that, I'll be terminating the net. 8:48. Good evening all. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Good night all.